guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and I'm back with an interesting video. So let's see what's that. And your brain is addicted to familiar pain, and here's how to break the loop. So let's get started. So most of us think that, and we say that we are stuck because changing is very hard. That sounds a bit logical, but it's not the full truth. So people stay stuck because the brain prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar uncertainty. So the brain involved in prioritizing predictability, not happiness. So if something feels known, the brain labels it as safe even if it hurts. So this is why people return to situations that they already know which is very bad for them. This is why simply that we are going back and back to our excess. Let me explain now why our brain clings to familiar discomfort this easily. So your brain is constantly scanning for threat, right? So unknown outcomes require more energy to process. Known patterns require very less. So familiar pains feel so manageable because you already survived it before. Unfamiliar improvement feels so risky because the outcome is unclear and it's something so new for you, right? So the brain chooses what it can predict always. So this is why people stay in draining relationships, stays in jobs that they hate, stay in habits that sabotage them, and the pain is painful, but it's predictable. So now let's see how emotional loops are formed. So every repeated experience creates a neutral pathway, right? A neutral pathway is simply a route your brain uses automatically, right? The more a pathway is used, the stronger it becomes. So over time, your brain stops questioning the pattern. It ruins and it runs by default, right? So this is how emotional loops form. Trigger, reaction, outcome, repeat. Simple. Trigger, reaction, outcome, repeat. So once the loop is familiar, your brain stops checking whether it's healthy or not. Simple. So I always talk about self-awareness and how important self-awareness to live a healthy life. But sometimes self-awareness also fails to compromise this. So let's see why self-awareness alone does not break the loop, right? So many people understand their patterns intellectually, right? So they say things like, I know this is bad for me, but since I know this person, blah, 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 right? So knowledge alone does not rewrite the nervous system, right? Your brain does not change your behavior through insight. It changes behavior through experience, right? Until the body experiences safety in a new pattern, in a new person, in a new situation, it will return to the old one always. So this is why changing feels very frustrating and very difficult, right? You know better, but your system pulls you back and back. Now let's see the role of dopamine, the happy hormone, in familiar pain, right? So dopamine is often misunderstood. It's not just a pleasure chemical actually. It is a learning chemical. Dopamine is released during anticipation and repetition, right? When you're repeating something, again, dopamine is producing, right? So even negative patterns can release dopamine if they are familiar. So this is why drama feels so addictive. So this is why overthinking feels so compulsive. This is why doom scrolling feels so soothing and so calming. So the brain is not chasing joy, it is chasing what it recognizes. Now let's see how identity locks the loop in place, right? So at some point, patterns turn eventually into an identity, right? So you stop saying this is something that I do, you start saying this is who I am, right? So I am bad at relationships, I am always unlucky, I am just anxious. Once a behavior becomes identity, the brain defends it. And it changes, now feels like losing yourself. And by willpower, fails again familiar pain. So willpower, which is the short form for resource, it works in calm states. It collapses under emotional load, right? So familiar pain lives in the emotional brain, not in the logical one, right? So you cannot logic your way out of a pattern your nervous system believes which is protective. So this is why people relapse under stress. Stress pushes the brain back to default roots. And now let's see the real way to break the loop, right? So breaking familiar pain does not start with elimination. It starts with interruption. So you do not need to fix your whole life right now, and you need to disrupt the automatic response. Small pause matter, right? So when trigger appears, slow the response as much as possible, change your timing, change the environment, change the moment, change everything that you can. Change your actions. So the brain notices originality, and originality weakens old pathways. And creating safety in unfamiliar behavior is also important. New behaviors feel so uncomfortable because the nervous system does not trust them yet. Safety is built through repetition, not intensity or anything. So gentle consistency rewrite faster than any dramatic effort that you put. So when the body experiences a new outcome without danger, the brain updates the map. And this takes patience and not force. And your brain does not respond well to emptiness. So if you remove a familiar pattern without replacing it, the brain panics very quickly. So this is why habit returns very stronger, right? So you must replace familiar pain with familiar safety. So new routines, new emotional responses, new self-talk, new habits. The replacement must be practiced until it becomes predictable. So now let's see why healing feels boring at first. So it's a common thing, healing feels so boring at first because mainly we don't understand what is this. First creates simulation and healing creates calm, right? So calm can feel so empty to a brain which used to intensity, right? So many people mistake peace for stagnation, and in reality peace is the foundation for growth, and the brain needs quiet to rewrite. And comfort is not always softness. True comfort is knowing you can handle discomfort without harming yourself, without self-harming, and that is real freedom. So when the brain learns this, it releases the grip on familiar pain. So with that, I'm going to end the video. Before that, you have to understand that you are not addicted to suffering. You are addicted to what is familiar. Your brain learns these patterns to protect you, and thank it, then teach it something better, right? So change does not require destroying yourself. So it requires showing your nervous system that there is safer way to live. And that is how loops end. So that is how new futures begin. So with that, we are done with the video for the day, and I hope you guys learned something very important about how to break a loop from this video. And thanks for watching this video, guys. Subscribe to my channel to watch more videos like this. So yeah, bye.